You must understand this now. Opportunity does not float around waiting for the right moment to show up. It is manufactured, summoned, and captured by those who command their thoughts and discipline their words. If you're waiting for luck, you'll wait your entire life. The reality is brutal but liberating. You are not a passive observer in the drama of your own success. You are the writer, the director, and the lead actor. Your thinking, sharp or dull, positive or negative, drives the story. Your words, lazy or intentional, weak or decisive, broadcast a plot. This is not philosophy for idle dreamers. This is how the top 1% live and win. The rest make excuses. Every day you open your mouth is a day you make a declaration to yourself and the world about who you are and what you expect. Words have gravity. They pull realities into your orbit. When you continually announce, "I can't, it's too hard," or "I never catch a break," you're issuing commands for failure and your subconscious listens. The mind is always under construction. It builds whatever blueprint you hand it. Most men hand it blueprints of mediocrity, limitation, and scarcity. Then they curse the world for building what they designed. Here's a truth you must accept. The world is not indifferent to your self-talk. It is listening. Every word shapes your identity. Every phrase sets the temperature of your belief. If you train yourself to speak with power, clarity, and certainty even before you have proof, your mind responds. It searches for evidence to make your declarations real. This is why you must become ruthless in policing your words. Mediocrity begins with one careless sentence repeated daily until it becomes your character. Excellence is born from speech that never flinches in the face of challenge. The successful talk themselves into greatness long before the world takes notice. This is not about wishful thinking. It is about the relentless discipline to edit your mental script until it matches the future you demand. There is no room for maybe. There is no power in if. You must learn to speak in terms of certainty and command. Replace "I hope" with "I expect." Trade "I wish" for "I will." If you are not speaking what you want, you are surrendering to what you do not want. Never forget words are a steering wheel, not a decoration. Most people get stuck here. They think their environment controls them when it's the reverse. They recite the news, echo the complaints of others, and replay old failures until their personality is nothing but a graveyard of mischances. They infect their speech with caution and apology. No one was born a winner, but everyone is born with the right to declare themselves one. The world responds to boldness, not hesitation. If you want to attract opportunity, you have to sound like opportunity. You must train yourself to walk and talk as if you already possess what you seek. Not arrogance, but certainty. There's a profound difference. Arrogance is empty. Certainty is earned by relentless discipline of mind and word. When you speak with certainty, doors begin to open and people begin to see you as a leader. Your environment rearranges itself to accommodate your expectations. Start auditing your speech. Cut out the words of weakness and doubt. Refuse to complain even to yourself. Every time you're tempted to narrate your setbacks, redirect the story toward what you're building. Declare it, repeat it, live inside it, and watch how opportunities begin to recognize your authority. Opportunity is attracted to those who announce what they want with clarity and never apologize for pursuing it. Guard your conversations. If you let the world fill your mind with complaints, fears, and limits, your subconscious will build a fortress around mediocrity. If you spend your energy with people who blame, moan, and whine, you'll inherit their problems as your identity. Instead, gravitate toward those who speak the language of progress and possibility. Borrow their confidence until it is your own. Then become the person others come to for clarity and power. You don't have to be the most talented, the wealthiest, or the most educated. You only need to control your speech so thoroughly that you start to believe yourself, so that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The evidence always arrives after the declaration, never before. The timid wait for proof. The successful create it with their persistence and their words. The world does not move for the silent or the apologetic. It moves for the determined, the loud, and the unashamed. Every day, people are building wealth, power, and influence simply because they refuse to let their words sabotage their destiny. They do not tolerate defeatist thinking. When you make this your standard, your life will change in ways you cannot yet imagine. Your mind is always eavesdropping on your lips. If you are careless with your speech, your mind becomes careless with your destiny. When you speak what you want and back it with action, you create an environment of inevitability. Opportunities are not found. They are created by people who talk like leaders long before the world acknowledges their crown. If you want the world to treat you as a king, you must first speak as one. Every successful person you admire has mastered this secret. They train their thoughts to believe, their words to reinforce belief, and their actions to make their speech reality. They are more disciplined in how they think and speak. That is the standard. Raise yours. The next level is waiting for you, but it will only recognize the sound of confidence, not the whimper of doubt. Your journey starts now. Speak with clarity. Think with power. Act with conviction. The world is listening, and it will respond. If you are serious about transforming your life, you must begin with the most uncomfortable, unrelenting scrutiny of your own mind. Most people are desperate to change their results, but almost none are willing to change their thought patterns or police their language. They are like men who expect a new house to rise while they pour the same faulty foundation every morning. Make no mistake, if you repeat yesterday's words, you will repeat yesterday's outcomes. If you continue to speak as the defeated, the broke, the invisible, you will inherit that identity over and over, year after year, until your life is nothing but a tired rear end of regret and wasted potential. You must hold yourself to the highest possible standard of mental discipline. The world is saturated with noise. Weak-minded men echo the language of the masses and wonder why they never get ahead. Strong-minded individuals stand guard at the gates of their mind. They select every thought, every phrase as carefully as a craftsman chooses the finest materials. They understand that sloppy language creates a sloppy existence. Precision in speech is the first act of creation. It is not enough to avoid negative words. You must actively flood your mind and your conversations with the language of expansion. Declare your goals as facts in motion. Speak the future you desire into the present moment until your brain accepts it as inevitable. This is not delusion. This is strategic influence over your own subconscious, which is the source of all your actions, habits, and results. If you continue to say, "I am not ready, I don't know how," or "I always mess up," then you are ordering your subconscious to maintain that reality. The subconscious mind has no sense of humor. It does not understand sarcasm or doubt. It obeys your most repeated thoughts and phrases as law. Here is where most people fail. They want the reward of change without the discipline of repetition. You cannot utter a single powerful affirmation once and expect mountains to move. Consistency is the law of growth. If you flood your inner world with unstoppable forward-driving language day after day, your environment will eventually surrender to your will. Every time you feel resistance, when it is hardest to speak positively, is the exact moment that your subconscious is listening most closely. This is where you must force your old identity into silence and replace it with the language of your next level. The world will try to convince you that nothing changes, that fate is fixed, that hope is foolish. Do not accept these lies. Most people are terrified of standing out, of declaring greatness, while others are still complaining about how hard life is. Do not seek approval. Approval is a reward for those who choose mediocrity. Opportunity is a reward for those who choose courage. When you speak with unbreakable certainty, you may make others uncomfortable, but you will also magnetize the right people, the right circumstances, and the right resources. Life organizes itself around leaders, not doubters. Discipline your inner circle. The people you allow to speak into your life are either reinforcing your vision or sabotaging it with doubt, envy, or fear. Audit your associations with the ruthlessness of a general preparing for war. If your friends, family, or colleagues habitually drag conversations toward pessimism, scarcity, or gossip, you must create distance or risk adopting their beliefs as your own. You rise to the level of your standards. Every morning as you wake, your mind is malleable, soft clay waiting to be shaped. Instead of squandering these early moments, seize them and direct them with intent. Speak your vision aloud. Claim your outcomes before you act. Train your mind to expect good, to command success, to anticipate opportunity. This is daily hygiene for the mind. You must also discipline your self-talk in private moments. How you speak to yourself when no one is listening is the most honest measure of your belief. Do you scold yourself for every mistake? Or do you practice the internal conversation of winners, turning every obstacle into a statement of resilience, every defeat into a lesson that sharpens your will? You will never outperform your own self-image. Speak to yourself as you would speak to a champion, because that is exactly who you must become if you are to win at the highest levels. The world has a way of echoing your dominant frequency. If you walk into a room with enthusiasm, confidence, and expectation, people are drawn to you. The unspoken energy of your words precedes you. No one is inspired to join a man who is unsure of himself. People invest in belief before they invest in ability. If you cannot speak your vision with conviction, why should anyone else take it seriously? The responsibility to command your words is not a burden. It is a privilege reserved for those willing to lead themselves before they lead others. Never again say, "I hope I can, maybe one day, or I'll try." The universe has no interest in half-hearted intentions. Speak with finality. Speak with resolve. Speak with the quiet thunder of a man who has already made up his mind and is simply catching up to his destiny. When doubt creeps in, and it always does, you must double down on your declarations. Speak over your fears. Narrate your life as a hero's journey, not a victim's cautionary tale. Never let the fear of appearing arrogant stop you from claiming what you desire. The greatest arrogance is to think the universe owes you anything for silence. Speak, demand, persist. Your words are a creative force shaping reality long before your actions arrive. You are here to become magnetic to opportunity, to draw wealth, influence, and progress by the deliberate and relentless use of your mind and speech. You have come this far because something inside you refuses to settle for fate of the average. The majority of men allow the conditions of life to dictate their expectations, never realizing that expectation itself is the root from which all reality grows. If you want the world to deliver new opportunities to your door, you must first become a master architect of belief within yourself. This is the relentless discipline of creators. Think of opportunity not as luck, but as a living thing, one that is attracted to the vibration of clear, decisive thought and repelled by the muddied energy of indecision and confusion. Your job is to refine your mind so completely that you become a beacon to what you seek. You must radiate the frequency of success, ambition, and readiness so strongly that chance itself cannot ignore you. Most people have it backwards. They believe that opportunity precedes belief. They wait for signs, evidence, and proof before they permit themselves to speak with certainty or think with ambition. And so the universe gives them exactly what they expect: waiting, stalling, postponing. The law is merciless. What you broadcast internally and externally you summon. When you complain, when you fret, when you lower your standards to fit in or to avoid discomfort, you do not just miss opportunities, you repel them. Even worse, you become a magnet for setbacks and frustration, drawing in experiences that confirm your lack of faith. A man's life is nothing but the sum total of his dominant thoughts expressed in word and eventually in deed. Speak often of your vision, not as a distant dream, but as an unfolding certainty. Do your words betray hesitation? Do you apologize for wanting more, for striving, for breaking free of the ordinary? If so, you must correct yourself immediately. The subconscious mind is literal, uncritical, and infinitely obedient. It cannot distinguish between jest and command. If you joke about failure, speak lightly of defeat, or sarcastically undermine your own efforts, you are programming your deepest self for stagnation. The time for careless humor about your life's direction is over. The world is overflowing with men who play small and disguise it as humility. But the universe does not reward silence. It responds to the brave, the bold, the explicit. The man who states his intentions again and again with unwavering conviction eventually shapes the world to match his vision. The way you think about yourself and speak about your future is not just preparation. It is the act of creation itself. If you permit even a hint of resignation or bitterness into your speech, you have already begun to destroy the foundation of what you are building. If you notice a pattern of negative talk or limiting beliefs, attack them with urgency. Replace them immediately with words that affirm your power, your direction, your inevitability. As you change your thinking and speech, your environment will begin to shift in subtle ways. Opportunities that once seemed closed will open, not because the world has changed, but because your mind has. When you become certain, the uncertain parts of your life start to clarify. Life rewards a man who makes up his mind. Recognize the immense influence your words have on others. If you speak as a leader, you create leaders. If you speak as a victim, you breed victims. Your influence does not end with yourself. If you want your world to rise, you must first raise your own expectations and never let them drop for the comfort of the crowd. In moments of fatigue, of doubt, of apparent failure, your language becomes even more important. When others would complain, you must declare your resilience. When others retreat into excuses, you must reaffirm your responsibility. When others shrink from challenge, you must say, I am built for this. I am here to win. I am becoming unstoppable. Speak these words with such regularity and force that they become the rhythm of your soul. You are always teaching your mind what to expect from the world, and the world in turn reflects those expectations right back to you. Review your conversations and internal monologue daily. Are you speaking of obstacles or opportunities? Of setbacks or strategies? Of who you have been or who you are becoming? Every answer reveals whether you are magnetizing abundance or pushing it away. There is no neutral ground. Become known as the one who speaks vision, who inspires belief, who makes others want to rise higher simply by being in your presence. This reputation will itself attract new alliances, new doors, new challenges worthy of your growing power. The energy of belief is contagious. You are an active creator, and your tools are your mind and your tongue. What you say becomes what you think, and what you think becomes what you receive. Refuse to speak or think in any way that limits your future. Replace every doubt with declaration. Replace every worry with a statement of faith. Speak your dreams aloud until they become reality, and then speak new ones. The reason most people never attract opportunity is because they have trained themselves to speak small. They do not realize that their self-deprecating jokes, their daily complaints, their endless conversations about what they cannot do become a prayer for defeat. The universe does not discriminate. It responds only to the energy, repetition, and emotion behind your declarations. Every time you say, I can't, it's too hard, or I'm not the type, you etch that message into the fabric of your destiny. You reinforce the walls of your own prison brick by brick until you are surrounded by the results of your own neglected power. Opportunity does not come as a knock on the door from some mysterious outside force. It rises up within you when you choose to see yourself as worthy, when you allow your thoughts to dwell on possibility, and when you shape your words to match the person you intend to become. The man who makes a habit of declaring his future with certainty finds that chance, luck, and fortune begin to orbit his life with increasing frequency. This is not coincidence. It is cause and effect. Ask yourself right now, what is the dominant story you tell about yourself, your capabilities, your prospects? The universe, like any powerful employer, promotes only those who declare themselves ready for greater responsibility, not those who hesitate, shrink, or broadcast their fears. This is the act of taking full command of the words that leave your mouth and the thoughts that echo in your mind. It is the conscious creation of a new self-identity. Each day you must become the coach, the architect, the drill sergeant of your own mind. You must identify the words that reinforce limitation and eliminate them with military precision. Replace them relentlessly with affirmations of power, progress, and certainty. I am a magnet for opportunity. I am prepared to receive and multiply every chance the world brings me. I create value wherever I go. Let these statements become your new normal. The language of the ascending is filled with certainty, direction, and expectation. They speak of what will be, not just what is. They refuse to let today's challenges define tomorrow's possibilities. Their words are weapons clearing the way for new opportunities to present themselves. You must understand that your mind is always eavesdropping on your lips. If you are careless with your speech, your mind becomes careless with your destiny. Guard your alignment, for in truth, your life depends upon it. The world is not shaped by those who merely wish, but by those who declare. Your life, your fortune, and your opportunities are a direct reflection of the words you speak, both to others and, more critically, to yourself. This is not self-help theory. It is a foundational law of creation. The average man speaks of his limits, rehearses his failures, and waits for things to happen. The man of destiny speaks of his vision, announces his progress, and compels opportunity to chase him down. The time for hesitation and tentative language is over. You must now commit to become the most disciplined speaker of your own destiny. The discipline of alignment, refusing mediocrity. Every time someone laments their circumstances, offer a vision for something better. When a group begins to gossip or criticize, redirect the energy toward solutions and possibilities. In doing so, you train your mind and signal to the universe that you are no longer available for mediocrity. This discipline extends to how you speak of your goals and dreams. Never dilute your ambitions to make others comfortable. The world has enough small talk, enough people willing to shrink for the approval of the crowd. Let your language reflect your highest vision, regardless of how it is received. Speak your goals aloud, not as requests, but as facts in progress. I am building a fortune. I am attracting powerful allies. I am growing every day. These are not lies. They are seeds, and your faith in them waters their growth. Silence the narratives of defeat. Beware the trap of rehearsing failure before it happens. Most men lose before they begin, not because the world is against them, but because they have trained their minds to anticipate defeat. They rehearse every possible setback, narrate every obstacle, and then act surprised when their words come true. Stop giving energy to what you do not want. Do not narrate defeat. Speak only of victory, of lessons learned, of resilience gained, of the next step forward. Opportunity finds its way to those who are perpetually in motion, who see themselves as in process, not as finished products or permanent failures. Consistency is the hidden force behind the attraction of opportunity. It is not enough to speak powerfully once or twice. The universe is listening for patterns, for the deep undercurrent of expectation that colors all your language. Decide now. You will speak, think, and act as a man who expects the best every single day. Your default setting will be to talk of progress, of solution, of destiny, not of drama, blame, or excuses. The power of expectation and belief. You must confront the final unyielding barrier that stands between the average man and the abundant life he pretends to desire. The barrier of belief. The truth is as sharp as it is simple. You will never attract what you secretly do not believe you deserve. And you will never speak with authority about a destiny you have not convinced yourself belongs to you. This is why the man who walks with the confidence of the inevitable, who says, I am success in motion, I am the magnet for everything I desire, will always surpass the man who says, I hope it works out for me, even if the latter is more talented or better positioned at the start. What you believe, you become. What you speak, you attract. No amount of action can override the subtle, constant sabotage of a mind filled with self-doubt, internal contradiction, or hidden fear. Examine your beliefs with surgical precision. Where did you adopt the idea that wealth is not for you, or that opportunity is reserved for others? If the voice playing in your head is not aligned with your vision, it must be silenced ruthlessly and permanently. Reprogram your mind daily. Write your new beliefs. Speak them. Argue for them until they dominate your inner dialogue. Your new self must become so familiar, so persistent that the old doubts die from neglect. Cultivate the loneliness of greatness. You must also refuse the seductive comfort of the crowd. Average people gather together and speak endlessly about limits, about what cannot be done, about the dangers of dreaming too big. They are hypnotized by their own complaints, bonded by the glue of shared mediocrity. They do not want you to rise, because your elevation exposes their resignation. If you allow yourself to be shaped by their conversation, you will inherit their results. Instead, cultivate the loneliness of greatness. Be willing to stand apart, to speak with conviction when others laugh, to defend your vision even when no one else believes. This is not arrogance. This is the discipline of destiny. Those who change the world always sound unreasonable until their results make them undeniable. What you must grasp fully and finally is that the universe does not give you what you want. It gives you what you expect. Expectation is a form of certainty, a magnetic command. When your language shifts from hope to expectation, the very fabric of your life begins to transform. Say, I expect to win. I expect doors to open. I expect resources, allies, and opportunities to show up as I move forward. The role of gratitude in storytelling. You must also understand the role of gratitude in attracting opportunity. This is not the hollow gratitude of polite conversation, but the active, lived experience of recognizing every small opening, every minor victory. Every lesson is a sign that more is coming. When you speak often of what you are grateful for, you program your mind to expect more to be grateful for. This expectation becomes self-fulfilling, drawing further reasons for gratitude into your experience. Speak aloud your appreciation for progress, no matter how small. Another powerful key is to become a storyteller of possibility. The stories you tell about yourself, your past, and your future are blueprints for what you attract next. If you describe your life as a series of defeats, unfinished projects, or missed chances, you teach your subconscious mind to repeat the pattern. Instead, craft a narrative that celebrates growth, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of something greater. Even your so-called failures are assets, proof that you are a person in motion, refusing to stand still or accept less than you deserve. Your story, told with conviction, is a call to the universe. I am ready. Send more. Strategic isolation and alignment. Pay careful attention to the company you keep. The people you spend the most time with influence your language and, by extension, your results. Surround yourself with those who speak with vision, ambition, and certainty. Avoid the pessimists, the cynics, the complainers. Their words are poison, and exposure will weaken your resolve. Your environment matters. Fill your space with reminders of your vision. Post your affirmations where you will see them. Read aloud the words that define your desired future. Let the walls, the air, and every object you touch reinforce your self-concept as a magnet for opportunity. The more you immerse yourself in this environment, the more natural it becomes to speak and think in alignment with your highest aims. The final measure, action as a consequence of belief. You must develop the habit of persistent, radical self-affirmation. This is not vanity. It is a mechanism by which you align your subconscious mind with the reality you wish to create. Reverse the habit of self-criticism. Spend every day searching for evidence of your progress. Celebrate your own discipline, your own courage, your moments of clarity. Announce to yourself, I am more than capable. I am made for success. My mind is an unlimited reservoir of ideas and solutions. Action is the natural consequence of belief, not its substitute. When you believe truly and deeply, you will act boldly, consistently, and without the constant need for reassurance. The man who hesitates, who second-guesses, who delays endlessly is simply advertising to the universe that he does not yet believe. If you are not acting, return to your language, your internal conversation, and your expectations, and repair them until action becomes effortless. Realize that all greatness is constructed in solitude before it is recognized in public. The conversations you have with yourself when no one else is listening are the foundation for every opportunity that appears later. Guard your solitude. Make your internal world a sanctuary of strength, vision, and affirmation, the test of adversity. Opportunity never leaves you empty-handed. Even in loss, even in failure, even in rejection, the man who thinks and speaks rightly is always being prepared for something greater. He is never truly defeated. He is being sharpened, pruned, and refined for the next level. The universe is never punishing you. It is always testing the strength of your conviction. Train yourself to outlast the storm. Say, I bend, but I do not break. I am being prepared for greater things. Your ability to keep your language and thoughts aligned with your vision in adversity is the ultimate separator between those who get what they want and those who merely talk about it. As you move forward, decide that your life will be an ongoing demonstration of these principles. You will speak as a man of destiny, think as a man of abundance, and expect as a man of victory. Let every sentence you utter become a silent contract with the universe, drawing resources, people, and opportunities into your hands. Never speak against yourself. Never allow others to recruit you into the army of the average. Be different. Be relentless. You are not waiting for opportunity. Opportunity is waiting for the man you are becoming. Speak your success into being, and then go out and claim it every single day.